Hi, my name's Bertie, and this is a test run for the Downforce Diaries podcast. I'm here with Crash, Herbie, Andy High, and we're going to talk about our journey in the rave scene and what we get from the music. Right, to kick things off, we're going to go around the table with a few questions, starting with Crash. So, Crash, where did you first hear rave music, and how old were you?
I was about 6, 7, and it was Potter. I heard Mental Glitchy, Guy Post Crew, and from there I was just astonished, and it was like the best thing that you could hear at that age. Like, it was all that was just around at the time, and it was just mint, really, you know what I mean? So that was where I heard it.
See, because I remember when I first heard it was Dark Bass, which was under 18s rave in Ashington, and I was 12, 13, Roscoe and that used to go on, and I remember I used to come with your mum and used to get Ace and that at the time, was it?
Well, my mum used to take us to the mall because obviously I was too young. Obviously they were all under 18s, but I had to be accompanied by an adult because I was too young myself.
You're my band's age now or something. He's 7, honestly.
So everyone used to come up with us, and she used to think, they used to think my mum was a bouncer, and because she was stood there in a Harley Hansen, and so she used be stood there and always be on the stage with all the big lads, Ace, stomping, and doing a little 5 minutes with them because I was only just a little squeaky kid. But that day and that at that age, do you know what I mean? It was just mental.
I was on the dance floor for you raving when you were on the mic then.
There was loads of older lads they all now. They were like, "Oh, Crash, you're from Dark Bass and all that," and they were like, "It's mad how you're that young and you're getting up with all them." And it was just at that time of your life when you're that young, it was what else is better? Do you know what I mean? So
who were the DJs and the MCs at the time? Who you looked up to the most?
So at the time, I would probably say it was Graham Rapid. Obviously you've got your Mentals and that, which I always listen to, but he was the one that put his time into me and give me the chance to put me on there, do you know what I mean? So I would always say it was DJ 45, Pudge you mentioned before, all them lot, and there was Rapid, Stomping.
Spanish Underground Crew, that's what they were called.
But that was
and
that was a few years ago, 10, 12 years ago now, and so all that time it was just them lot, and like I said, Graham got me on, and I say, I appreciate him for doing that because he put his time into this.
Right. So Herbie, when did you first hear rave music and how old were you?
Start of high school, so what, 13, and it was a lad called Doshi, MC Bassline, put a tape on his Walkman, and it was MC Stomping, Welcome to the Race, always remember that. And what was that, 2001. But
how hard were you when you realised that you wanted to get into DJing?
Not a few years ago. I only started DJing about 5, 6 years ago. I had decks when I was 15, but I was crap. Couldn't mix a support noodle then.
Still new, can't it? That's it. So Andy, where did you first hear rave music and how old were you when you heard it?
I think it was about 11 or 12. I was just in my mates and he played a Bourbon Street tape from 95, 96, something like that. I didn't really like it, to be honest. I was still listening to chart music and that at that age. That's what I liked. But then a Bonkers CD came out a few years later with Sharky and that. And I thought it was unreal. And the only sort of place I could find that was sort of similar to that at the time was the After Dark tapes that started coming out. So a bit later, about 99. And then that's when I really sort of got into it.
How hard were you when you realised that you wanted to DJ IMC? Because obviously you're DJ now, but you started your career IMCing, didn't you, at first?
I actually started DJing.
Oh, did you?
It must have been about 99 when we started listening to After Dark tapes and things like that.
I was born.
When Heskey got some decks and just some little belt drives, but a few tunes and that, and it sort of went from there. But I think I started MCing probably about a similar time actually. Now that I think about it, looking up to people like Jet and Techno T and people like that.
So where did you first hear rave music and how old were you?
My first memory of rave music, I can remember being with Big Red, Snelly and Gav Charlton and now the game Pigeon Toss where you play with coins. We were playing that but with stones for items and we're swapping, and I remember Snelly had a monkey tape and I wanted his monkey tape because he used to go into the tune all the time with his pals and come back he's sort of ahead of our time, do you know what I mean? And I think I had a golf club. I won the monkey tape and he won my golf club or something, and then ever since then I just remember that was it, loved it.
So what was the first live event you ever went to?
Dark Bass under 18s at Ashington Football Club. That's where Crash was on about. Where MCs were Ace, Stretch, MC bouncing, and I didn't know if Banks was on. I might be mistaken, but I'm sure Banks used to come doing.
And who were the main MCs and DJs that you looked up to at the time?
So I like Stretch's faster style compared to like the likes of Lyric and stuff back then. But I used to listen to the bounce MCs and that a lot more, like Finchies and Curvas and Quilsies and like the up and coming MCs around here. Like I was kind of a youth club MC, as mad as it sounds. Like I used to go into youth clubs at a young age, and like the Patas and the Daz Rapids, the Blasts, the Buzzins, the Rock Eyes, the Genos, like they were like celebrities to me at first. So like that's who I wanted to be like. I never really like, the Monkey. I used to listen to Monkey tapes when I was young, but like the new breed, the YouTube style of MC, like I think I was the first sort of generation listening to YouTube MCs.
See, I never listened to the new stuff till not long ago. Me and I started getting back into it.
Same with me.
I was still just.
I think I had like a.
That's because we used to go there.
I had like a 10-year break. I used to drive around in my car like listening to Ed Sheeran and that, honestly, like Devlin and stuff. And then I went for a few beers with Roscoe when we used to go into my mate's caravan. I had a proper booming sound system in. Used to connect the Bluetooth and that, and he put it was Doors of Donk on, and like it was like bounce MCs, but they were telling stories like about sessioning and that instead of like sort of bit of this, get a bit of that. They were telling like proper comparisons with wordplay and that, and like it used to make me laugh when we were sitting on the beer and that. So I was thinking, yeah, like we sort of need to come back and like tell stories on our genre, you know what I mean? Like it's not just we've all got stories to tell sort of thing, and that's what I kind of wanted to put on the lyrics. That's where like sort of the humour and the wordplay and the vibe that me, Roscoe, and that sort of bring to it now. The Downforce vibes kind of sort of originated from bounce, if you ask me.
I think the new style's better, like in a way, because it is telling stories. Now people relate to it more, don't they?
Definitely.
Especially when they can relate to stuff that's happened in the past in your lives and that. I think it comes better down with the youngins as well. They look up to you, don't they?
Definitely. Well, like when we did the youth projects as well, obviously like with Tech Crash, we've done some with Herbie as well, and like the youngins seem to like Crash because he's just like the same size as them, same age as them.
Well,
He's
it
a little bit
was
smaller.
It was because obviously I always got brought up, and I was going to the youth club, so I would always like do the competitions that they used to do. So like I used to like not relate to them, but like they wouldn't look up to us, but like I knew like where they were coming from, and I used to like try and like get them to stick in at something. So all of them used to try and like look up to MCing, and they couldn't do it because they couldn't write the lyrics. But if you listen to me, you know that I can't write them either. But it's all just about enjoying it and having a laugh with your mates. And so like I used to go on and used to help them try and write the lyrics when I could. But then like all the lads, they just took a loving, not to just the music, but like to me as well, because obviously I was trying to help them and to push them out there, do you know what I mean? And
mingling, isn't it?
and I think they kind of respected us for that. So like I got the enjoyment to helping them and to try and get them off the streets to help them as well, do you know what I mean? So I always appreciate the youth work, and I'd always try and help youngins if I can.
It's mad because I think it was the Fed. I done Mont at the Fed, and that was the first time that a youngins come from a youth club, and he was grabbing us when I was on the mic, and I could recognise his face. And I always used to say to them, look, if he's like 18 when he's old enough, come and don't be scared to talk to us, you know what I mean? I was on the mic. It happens all the time. I remember like seeing one of their faces, but I couldn't remember where I recognised them from. He pulled us afterwards, you know, it was like that Marky G and that, who's like used to MC with and that, you know what I mean?
Well, it's every rave I got to now. There's kids that I used to look after in the youth club coming up, Rez.
Well, as people used to say, when you used to say just a gun, and you going, you didn't not crash, and they were going, do you actually not crash? Do you ring them?
Ring crash. Yo, you didn't not be, you didn't not such and such. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not.
So moving forward a bit, Andy, what's your favourite venue that you performed in, and why?
Probably the Monkey, to be honest. Just different time when it was like the last of the all-nighters, so the sound system was unreal. I think it's not like a lot of raves now, because they had that system set up, didn't they? And it didn't get touched week in, week out, so it was just like finely tuned over a period of time. And like I'd never done like an event before that. When I've talked to some MCs, I'd done like smaller events before it. So I went and just handed a demo in, and that's how I got on. So the first time I like checked the mic and heard me voice like echo around this room, it was just something else. And like I don't think I've had that feeling since.
I think that atmosphere on the Monkey was just...
It was just different. Like,
wasn't it? Like you had people from everywhere, and there was never bother.
There was
there
was no drink and that, and I think that played a big part of it as well. Like it's a different thing now.
Pot noodles and ice pops.
Obviously,
that's all it was. There was nothing else.
Obviously, I'd never been to the Monkey and that, but like as an MC, people still like mention that system to this day. I don't know if they had part of it in Illusions or something or in Passion, but like that system was wicked and as well, proper mint. So I remember there was another rave. So Dark BS was my first rave, and then they had one at Movies in Bedlington, which was like where I used to live, isn't it? And Robbie Lyric used to run that. That was under 18s, and I went there once, and like I remember Lyrics being like proper skinny with a Stone Island coat on, like rocking the mic. But like to be honest, looking like at what the scene is now, and looking at like back then, like there were good events and everything, I think, but like they look quite empty to what's been built now. Do you know what I mean? So like I think they deserve all the credit in the world, because you see too many MCs coming back now, like sort of like, I'm not saying because it's big, but like he deserves all the credit. Like even me coming in 4 years, like he's kept that gun when the dance floors weren't as full. When our them years, like he hasn't just come in and getting a slice of the pie. No, he's been there and like built it into them empty dance floors month in, month out over the last 10, 15 years. You know what I mean?
God, my first rave was a high pitched stomp in Crammy. It's not even there, the club anymore. And DJ Backtrack, can you remember DJ Backtrack? He was a lad, I'm sure he had cerebral palsy in a wheelchair.
He's called Glenn DJ.
Unreal DJ. He used to come with stomping and ace and that. It was mint. Little 14-year-old bouncing around to that. It was class. He was an unreal DJ. He was the only DJ all night. And he used to smash the tunes out left, right and centre. He was class.
Right, so once you'd been to these raves, Dark Bass, Infiltration and stuff, like what was it that inspired you to start writing and wanting to be part of it?
Everyone run our way, just listened to it, and so I obviously didn't want to feel left out. So there was like a few lads who lived on the estate. There was like the likes of like Stephen Peel, Kicking, and all of them had done it. And like obviously I was just young, I couldn't write the lyrics, so like they would write them for us and say, look, like say these on the mic, and like obviously you would progress by then, because they would just write the bars for you and you were just saying them. Do you know what I mean? So obviously they would write the bits on the paper and I would say it. And then, like, I was getting a bit harder, and I was realising, like, how much it used to, like, take up my time, and I'd enjoy it, and, like, it was, like, a task for me, do you know what I mean? So, like, when I started writing the lyrics, obviously, they were just basic, simple things, but, like, when you would get the mood in that, you would feel, like, quite buzzed, because that's something you've just wrote, and, like getting it out there, and, like, you were happy with it, and it sounded good, and so it used to get kind of, like, a happy buzz, do you know what I mean? Like, because you knew that you could say something new that you've never said before, and like, so like for me, it was just like writing basic things, but like they were things that people could like join in with, and like they were
sort
just
of hooks
easy.
And stuff.
So like for me, it was pretty easy, because obviously I was just writing basic, like the basic stuff. It was good because like everyone, if it's not long, it was just catchy, and like everyone could sing along with it. You know what I mean? So
didn't
like
have to be like a scientist to understand them.
So like, and that doing that would give you like a big buzz back, you know what I mean? Because obviously everyone's singing your stuff, like, and that kind of buzz, you kind of like, it's better than any kind of drug you can take, you know what I mean? So
it was similar for me, because I used to hang with like older people who like, I remember my cousins and that, they used to like, obviously they were in the high school and I was just in the middle school, so they used to like pedal around on their bikes and sort of freestyle stupid songs and stuff. And then like I used to go back to middle school and like freestyle their songs to my pal and like pretend I'd made it up and that, and then started like writing songs about teachers and that, like little poems and that, and then I just love rhyming me, you know what I mean? But like going back to the youth clubs, like we used to like attend different areas, so like we would have like the decks on in our youth club and MC battle me and Roscoe and stuff. Then we'll go into like North Seaton, the next town hour, and we'll like mingle with each other, battling different groups and stuff. And like that's when Crash used to enter the competitions, like 7-year-old and beat well. I stopped like bothering with the music for 10 years, but like looking back, I didn't really think I had a hobby. But when I got back into it, I realised like, yeah, when all my mates were doing that, I was keeping out above bother by like being at the youth clubs and like MCing. Like that was my hobby that I kind of forgot about. But like if it wasn't for them and like the youth clubs and stuff, I would have been up to no good constantly on the streets.
Oh, 100%.
that's why my mother put us into them. She used to have me doing something every day. Like I would have like my youth club on the Tuesday and Thursdays, like the mix it up, and Silks of Blythe, and then she'd have us Gandhi and other things, so I wasn't out on the streets, you know what I mean? So like I thank everything to like youth workers and youth clubs and that, because like they done a lot, and like they were like big part of me, and like they even like offered us like voluntary work, like because like I used to have a big, not like a big influence on the kids, but like wanted to have a go on the mics and stuff like that. So like I've always had time for youth work and stuff like that, because like it's obviously a big part in my life, you know what I mean?
Right, so Herbie, how did you start DJing, and can you remember how you got your first set of decks?
I think I was about 14 or 15 year old, and I bought some Stanton, I think they were ST50s, belt drives off my mate. Couldn't mix to save my life. And then I packed it in for years and just got back into it through my mate Damo. in Substance, and I went round theirs and on CDJs. I'd never seen CDJs in my life, and I looked and it was just flashing lights. Couldn't understand it. And then the pair of them made us learn, wouldn't leave the houses till I learned. That was what, about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just like, I used to MC when I was younger. I was crap. I was absolutely pants.
Drop a bar.
Drop a bar. What kind? But no, but the feeling like then when I got into producing as well, that's what, once I got the hang of DJing, I wanted to be able to make my own music, because playing your own tracks and seeing people bounce to them, it's class. But even just picking the right tunes for like MCs, or like feeling the vibe of a room, you can plan a set and you can think it's mint, and then you can play a tune and the room will go dead. So you've got to like be able to learn to like read the room and that. Play a vocal banger now and again, get the room bouncing.
So Andy, can you remember how you first got into DJing and your first set of decks?
Like I say, Heskey got his decks first, and we all used to just go around his, play on his. And, when I first got mine, I think I swapped to N64 for these like Sound Lab belt drive things. Oh, they were awful. Like, you scan down to Spinning Disc in Sunderland. Like some of the tunes now that are going for daft money used to be like £8 back then. And I think there was like there was a bit of like ego involved. You wanted to be sort of like centre of attention. Like even though you were just amongst your mates, you liked being involved. You liked like putting the music out there, didn't you? It was the same for the MCing as well. When I first like started MCing, I'd say other people's lyrics, like Turbo D's and Tazo and Ace and stuff, and you'd have your mates like singing along with you. And I thought, wait, actually, I want to go ahead with this. I want to like try to take it up proper. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to start writing my own lyrics. And like when I started writing my own, like I said, like when Crash said they were just basic, mine were basic. But once your mates learnt them and they started singing it back to you in the bedroom, like it was unreal. Like it was class feeling. It was on in like
such a
front
buzz.
of 3 or 4 people. But like I say, it was big like ego boost when you're not doing much at the time. And then so that's why I started doing it. I think there was like a little bit of ego involved, just wanting to like be the center, not the center of attention, but like just
be
like having just having that interaction with people, with your mates. Like it was good. And like the DJing side of thing, I was gonna ask Herbie, like how do you like approach like making a set? Like have you got like a formula for it, or like obviously there's 2 different disciplines, isn't there? There's one for like studio sets, and then there's the live set. Would you do like a studio set for somebody?
Why, half the time the MCs that I was requested a couple. Some MCs will try and plan the set, but I just listen. I like bouncy stuff, mate. Like, or saying that, but if you've got a slower MC, you've got to find tunes to fit them. Yeah. But I was like playing like at least a couple of vocals, mate. Like I sometimes normally start with a vocal, and I'll either put one at the end or in the middle, but I just like fast, bouncy stuff, mate. I'm not one for all this trancey stuff, but it's all new Makina for me. I love the old stuff, but I think it just gets baked to bits now. But I like the proper bouncy stuff. Happy, got to be happy vibes, hasn't it?
So Andy, obviously, when you're on the decks, it's Project 88, when you were Heskey, but was High when your MC, was that always your first name, or?
No, it was Vibe was my first MC name.
I like it.
I was like our first over 18 rave that we started going to was the old Hangar 13, the McEwen Centre, and there was an MC competition on there, and the lad who won it was a lad called MC Vibe as well. So that's when I changed my name. I am glad I did, but I mean it's not much more original, is it? High, really, to be honest. And that just sort of stuck.
It's clicky though, isn't it? It's one that you're not going to forget, isn't it?
It's another 4-lettered words. It's not far removed from Vibe. So
I think my first ever name was I think it was called MC Mystic or something like that, and then I changed it to Twist, but then there was loads of twists, like proper loads of twists,
so
and then
I
started getting sets when I was a kid, like hanging around, like because me and Techno T, like we've got a mutual friend who died, like Jordan Root, and like he was a year older than me, so like me once he died at his funeral, and that I got speaking to Kevin that through Patter, and was like started giving Patter sets, and I started going with him and that, and I was only 15 or 16, I wasn't even had enough to get in the places and that, so like I wasn't allowed to be on the fly at first, and they used to give us a go at the mic, but like when I told him my name, it was Twist and that. He goes, look, I've not been funny. You can't be on my flyer called Twist. Like, there's too many like bad ones. So I couldn't think of a name, and I was just a kid, and obviously he named us Twistinator. So there's like a couple of flyers that's got Twistinator written on it from when I'm a kid, and I never get the end of it. Honestly, I hate it.
Twistinator.
So I just come back as Bertie and just thought, you're not getting that.
Hello, I'm Michael Walker, and I run Weird Jamming Studio here in Towlar, County Durham. Weird Jam was set up as a community-focused music company because there was nothing in our area that did that, basically. There was nowhere to go to record, there was nowhere to go to learn about music production technology. So we set up and we started delivering sessions out from the backs of our cars, I suppose, just taking the equipment to youth projects and community groups. We used to work with schools, and sort of grew the company from there. In 2016, we managed to get this building, which is part of Towlar Community Centre. We were working there at the time doing a youth project, and it was difficult to find space to put all the equipment. And anyway, we saw this and we said to them, there's any chance we could rent this out? And they were like, yeah. So that was it. We got moved in, and the rest's history, I suppose. So started working with MCs after I'd been to Tricky D's shop in Concert. I took some flyers through. I had a bit of a chat with Tricky, and he said that he had a group of friends, Concert Connection guys, who had been to other studios and not really had the best of experiences, like didn't really cater for MCs or understood the music, or just understood how the guys wanted to get on and do a session. So anyway, I said, well, why don't you come over here and we'll see what we can do. And anyway, they turned up about 2 weeks later, and there was about 12 guys turned up, just ready to go, bringing the sets in and USBs, jumped on the mic, and off they went. And from that, I think other people had heard what the recording came out like, and that's when people started to notice what we did, and people started to travel to come here. The impact of COVID and the lockdown period has been quite significant for the people who come here. We've noticed a slow trickle of people coming back to the studio, and things are getting back to normal now, but it's been quite a challenge for people who've come here previously and been able to step into the booth and do an hour set, no problem. We found that people were, after 15 minutes maybe, their voices were getting sore, they couldn't articulate the words in the way that they used to, and that's been very frustrating for people. I mean, if you think about it, they've had nothing to do or nowhere to go to do anything either, so they haven't had any gigs to go to, they couldn't go and have a jam session at friends, they couldn't come here to record. And getting back into it's been quite a challenge for a lot of people. It's had a big effect. So when we were first talking about the initial Downforce Diaries podcast episode, Jamie mentioned an idea that people have the idea that you have to be like a seasoned pro or active in the scene to come and do a recording here or to use a studio, and that's just not true. We originally set up as a facility to be able to help people, to be able to help anyone who is getting into music or writing bars or songs or whatever. It was a place where you could come and you could learn, and you're fully supported in doing that. And even though we do get a lot of people who are very, very established at what they do, we also fully support people who are just starting off. So if you're just starting to write, your bars or your lyrics or whatever, and you've never been to a studio before, please do not think that, I've got to be at a certain level before I go there, or, so-and-so goes to that studio. And this is not just our studio, any studio. I'll have to be at a certain level to be able to do that. That is just not the case. People are here to help you develop what you've got, whether that's a few bars and you just want to see what it's like being in the booth and seeing what your voice is like when it's being recorded, and reflect on the lyrics that you've done and do they work in the way that you imagined. you can totally use the studio for that purpose. I mean, people come along and they go in the booth, they use it for promotion on SoundCloud, they use it for demos to get on at events, but also, you know, people come along and they use it as a reflective tool, so they'll record the lyrics to the whatever beats they bring along, take that away, refine it, come back, you know, and use it as a learning tool. And I think that's quite important, that people should know that studios are not just for seasoned professionals, they are here to help people along as well, to get you, you know, used to the environment. Because when people, even when professionals come here, most of them are quite nervous, you know. They get in the booth and they're nervous when they're putting down the bars that they've put down countless times over on stage. But when they get in the booth, that's a different story. And I think after a while, you know, the anxieties get less and less, and they get used to the environment and how things work, and it becomes a lot easier. So getting that out the way, or learning about that, or learning that experience, that's quite important to begin with. So don't ever feel that, or people shouldn't feel that studios are only out there for professionals, at least not here. That's not what we're about. We're here to help everybody. Young people, older people, wherever you are, if you're just starting out, great, come along and we're here to help you.
So, Jamie, how did you first start Downforce?
Well, my dad was in prison, and his mate bought us a set of decks for Christmas because he knew I didn't really have an out, and he asked all my pals what I wanted for Christmas and that, and I was a bit shy, so he got us some decks. I didn't have the speakers and that, I wasn't allowed to play them, so I used to listen on my bedroom floor to the tunes, like and just the noise off the needle, and I used to write my lyrics to that. But obviously we wanted to do it, we used to do it with my different friends' house and stuff, and then we went to the bar, and I said to them, like, we're at a bar, like, can me and my friends come in here, put my decks in the back room, and like, I'll just be a few here. And he went, aye, but like, they need to buy a can of pop each, so like £1 entry. And like, by the last one, there was like 180 people there, like 180 young'uns there, and they had to kick wood for a fire hazard, like, because it was too even. So like, to be honest, it wasn't really meant to be an event. It was just like somewhere for to play our decks, and then we ended up getting in touch with like Rock Eye and that through YouTube. He was like, we were Rock Eye's first ever event, like over on YouTube, his first ever live set, and they come doing that, and obviously so I'd met them, but wasn't into the music for years and that. And then obviously that was like, when we'd done it when we were kids, I was DJ Flex, who was called Jordan McDonald. He was a DJ he's passed away. Another friend, Jordan Root, he passed away, and Michael Turner, MC Blaze, he passed away. So they were like 3 originals, like 2 MCs and a DJ. And that's what the lyric means when I say Fishy's on the decks in heaven and Mickey's on the mic with Rush. When we go to heaven, they'll be there waiting for us. Because like, when I started doing it again, I thought like, well, I'm gonna do it. Like, it kind of took me back down memory lane. When I didn't listen to the music for 10 years, and I went to Amsterdam for a weekend with Ozzy, and he come in with a speaker, and the speaker was playing a monkey tune, and Ozzy started MCing, and I just spat a lyric after it, and somebody was videoing it. So somebody put the video on like Facebook, and they were like, "What? Roscoe didn't come to Amsterdam though." So he was at home, and he had like a condenser and a recording like kid in his bedroom, and he'd been trying to get me into rap for years, like, oh, hey, you'll smash grime, come and do this. And I used to think, no man, I didn't MC anymore, I've grew out of it all. And so when he seen that moment that we were like all on the drink in Amsterdam for the weekend, like MCing, he thought, right, and he took that moment and he recorded a 3-track Makina attack from his bedroom and released it when we were still partying in Amsterdam. So like, I was sitting like thinking with Ozzy, thinking, wow, I've never heard MCing before. And then all of a sudden I've got my nephew who used to be back to back with me, spitting lyrics called Reminiscing. Like, he's got like a 12-minute audio, like talking about what we used to do, like talking about my local. And like, to be honest, I just fell in love with music that weekend again, because it was my first lads holiday. Ozzy had been on loads, he'd been to like a Beef the week before, Creamfields in Amsterdam. So he had the speaker, so he knew like music is like, that's the petrol pump of the party. So he knew that, like, he knew to bring that, and he honestly smashed it. He changed my life that weekend. Like, I swear to God, he showed us the music, and like Roscoe used to always put my old audios on. That's like when we're 14 on YouTube, and like when I was at parties, I used to like flipping proper, like angry. I used to get proper angry at him at parties, going, turn that off. I'm telling you, like I used to proper flip it. And then like he took this chance to bring Reminiscing out. So then like I was out with Ozzy, and I was like 120%. I says, like, when I come back, like, I said, I'll make an audio, and I couldn't find a tune for ages. Couldn't, like, the new Makina and that, I hadn't heard it. It'd been 10 years, and it was Echo of Flights. I like that tune. And I went to Roscoe's. I says, look, I'll do it, but I says, like, I only had like 3 minutes worth of lyrics. They weren't even really lyrics looking back now. So I says, like, didn't put it anywhere. And I remember, like, the condenser, I felt like we had MCing into it. I had to have a pen in my hand, because, like, obviously my hands were free to get my voice. So I was MCing for it, and I didn't put it anywhere. And like literally, I went in the corner. My son was 2, and I got like left Ross's. Didn't even know what SoundCloud was or now. I went in the corner. My son's playing the audio at 2-year-old on the Bluetooth speaker. Like Ross goes uploaded. Didn't net my last. I just literally walked through the door.
And it was getting played.
And it's getting played, and then I went to the shops. Like I was young and played. But at the time, this was before Bad Boy Triller Crew and stuff. This and like honestly, like I'm telling you, I didn't listen to any. I used to listen to Ed Sheeran in my car, like doing my way. That was like no music at all. Like honestly, like everybody was like sort of searching for music without realising it. And then like when that audio come out, honestly, like now just talking about stuff from the streets and saying R.I.P. to people who died, who people could relate to, like
It took off.
like it was everywhere, and like it was 3 minutes of absolute
That's
crap audio for me. But like people were going, that's amazing, that. So like when they were doing that, I was cringing, going, oh no, I can't believe they're playing that. So I sat up and I used to put the headphones in and write lyrics and think, I'm going to have to do one. I didn't want to MC, but I thought I'm going to have to do one audio just to prove that I'm not lying to them, saying like I'm better than that. So like that audio that Roscoe released on the sly, kind of like embarrassed us that much, I went and grafted my arse off.
That's how I
Didn't
first come over you. Me and Johnson at mine, when I first got my first pair of decks and I heard it, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't get him round mine. And you and Roscoe come round, and there was me, you, Substance, Rock Eye, and Roscoe.
It was a Mother's Day.
Aye.
But it was when you first started getting back into it, like Patter used to get you to come to mine, and we used to do like we didn't always do the live streams, but we used to do like the odd little stream, and then Jimmy would come with like Ross. It was just in the tiny bedroom, and then it all just took off from there, really, didn't it?
Because what happened was I'd done this 3-minute audio, like I see it, and then like Patter heard it, and he was coming up to this. He was coming up to We Are Jamming to do proper like recorded studio sets. Like he'd been involved in music the time I was out, so he had like the head start. So he brought me up to We Are Jamming, like here, and like I was just in love with like what you could do. Like it's not just literally emceeing into the mic. It was like all the effects, like the fact that you can stop and start like a proper artist, and like come in with a plan and leave happy, like the best version of yourself, and like that bit there excited me more than just emceeing into the mic. So like the fact that you could come up here, do your project, release it to your like fan base, they would like listen to that, and then I would kind of get like feedback, like by like
and
saying,
it would push it to do a
say
better
what
one.
would work, and then like whilst I wasn't on the mic, like I was writing lyrics and making projects and making plans and coming in like then advertising via solo sets, which kind of got us. And then once that happened, I just started getting bookings like. People
So
were
that was
messaging.
that was one of the things that blew me away when I started listening to rave again. Because like when I stopped listening to rave, it was just we used to just make tapes in the bedrooms. But when I came back, started listening to stuff, and I got back involved with the scene, like 2018, something like that, 17, 18. There was this new discipline that had like evolved, like the studio sets.
Yeah.
And now MCs had that chance to like express themselves in different ways, whereas they didn't before.
So like the first kind of time you heard the MCs on the was when Turbo D and all that come and done like the condenser sets, and obviously I just heard them on rave sets, you know what I mean? So it was like seeing a total different side of them on like a studio set, wasn't it? Like something that you'd never heard before, and it was something just totally different, because obviously we're used to hearing
And
them
do you
live.
approach them in different ways as well? Like how do you approach like a studio
So
set to
I was
like a live?
I was like I say, I was at an event one night, and it was like momentum, and obviously you're shouting everyone else's lyrics, and I was coming to record a set here the day after, sorry, and so I had like kind of a bit of a sore throat, because like you're screaming everyone's lyrics, so my voice was pretty gone. I was saying to all the lads, I'm gonna put a voice on when I got into the booth. I'm gonna put a voice on. Like, what do you mean put a voice on? So like my voice was like kind of broke a bit. So like I changed like the sound of my voice, and like had like a tone on it. So like it was like a bit lower, and like so it was like total different to what I normally am. Do you know what I mean? And like it worked, because like my voice was gone. Do you know what I mean? And like. So I went into that thinking that I'm gonna totally change myself, and like all the lads say on the way out, like that was the best set of the day, do you know what I mean? Like, but my voice was gone, completely gone, and like obviously greets to Michael, he made a sound mint, you know what I mean? So I went in like they thought I was daft, because I was saying I'm gonna change my voice, and like, what do you mean change your voice? I was like, well, you'll see when I come out, and obviously it worked, you know what I mean? Like,
See, another thing I remember when I first come back, like. Obviously, I'd done the 3-minute audio, like I said, and then I'd done a set with Patter. Like, I didn't have a clue, but he brought me here, and like he had like a SoundCloud, which was like it had loads of thousands of followers. Like, I just come and just literally, I just stood there, and he went EMC there, and I just MC'd, and then he released it on his SoundCloud. That was already. It's like me, like somebody who doesn't MC now. It's like me putting them on my SoundCloud. They're gonna get recognition, and like. because he'd done that without me even realising what was happening. I just thought I was coming to MC for old time's sake because Pat, I thought I couldn't do it live. You know what I mean? So I come and done it, and then it got loads and loads of views, and then he's like, right, we're doing part 2. So we've done part 2, and then like before I knew it, I was like into this rave scene, like massively into it, whilst I didn't even know anybody in it. Like I'd never even attended a rave like properly. So like once I'd done that, I realised I went to crashes, and you can't know how I will MC in my bedroom. So like I used to MC in people's bedrooms, and when I went in, there was a phone, and they were like, oh, we're live on Facebook. I was thinking, oh wait, didn't really think much of it. But live on the MC Banks' page, and it got like 50, 60. I went, yeah, and there's like 60,000 followers. Like, to be honest, I was getting loads of stick in that. Like people griefing you and stuff. But like, it makes you thick skin for like the real world. You know what I mean? Like I was looking on that, and I was thinking, there's 50,000 people watching me. I'm gonna have to book my ideas up. You know what I mean? So it brought the best. Like just from like it just happened without realising, to be honest. But like it's class.
It's been a mad 5 years.
Oh,
Has it been 5 or is it only 4?
It's been a lifetime for us.
I bet you feel like he's like me like on 4 years.
Well, I remember he was like at Rave to the Grave, and that was the first time I'd came across you. And there was like an MC competition, wasn't there? And DJ competition.
I was in the DJ competition. He was in the MC competition.
Where you only got to make a vibe.
But like what happened? what happened? I remember. So like I'd done a set. And that was my first ever live, like me as an MC, was at Exposure in Darlington in room 2. And I remember like they had the lineup already sorted and stuff, and obviously Darlington's miles away, and like we were making waves, like the Downforce crew, sort of studio wise, but Annie Dynam in Roscoe's bedroom, like on condensers, didn't have a clue. And there was like a poll on Facebook, like someone couldn't make room 2, so they said like, we're gonna do a competition. What MCs do you want to see? Like just basically for publicity, wasn't it? And loads of people started like tagging me, and I was thinking, what? I'm gonna get like a live set here. And I commented saying like, to be honest, I wasn't game enough to gan myself. Probably looking back now, so I was commenting on it saying like, look, unless you're gonna make room for 2 and put unit on as well, like I'm not coming. Like, and there was people commenting and saying, who's these unheard MCs thinking they're calling the shots? Give them that due, the change of rules. Book the 2 where me and Unit went, we absolutely smashed it. Crash and part I was on. And I
remember Facebook the next day after that, because there was a few like big names in room 1.
Reload. I sorry, it wasn't Exposure, it was Reload.
And then you and Unit.
Because I wanted to see all the videos was from room 2,
yep.
And obviously I didn't know
everyone with sunglasses.
I says like, is there any videos of people not wearing sunglasses at this event? I wanted to see some of the other lads, but then obviously years like must have like.
Don't get us wrong, like we took a few whiffs as well, like but like obviously that room 2 was little room 2, wasn't it? But like there was a door to go into room 1, and like I think it was Carl Forsyth had put a video. It was alive. And he walks into the room 1, which is just empty, and then you go back through the door to go into room 2 to show you what it was like. And from wall to wall, it was just absolutely brimmed. You know what I mean?
But what happened was like I think it was a 40-seater coach, but like that was my first set, right? So there was 40 people come with me, and then like I got another set like say the next month, and there was 30 or 40 come then. And then they started coming week in, week out, and I thought, but I knew like down my way, there's no nightlife, like there's nothing like. My mates were just sessioning and stuff and not really like living, do you know what I mean? So like when they were coming with me week in, week out, like 40 people supporting you, I knew like, look, they're spending like, I was organising the buses, so I knew what it was costing them and just travel, just to come and have the night before they've spent money. So like I thought, there's something missing doing my way, so I'm going to put some of it on just to give back, never to make any money, like that. And the first ever Downforce, that we've done, like the return one, it was at the Miners, and it was next door to another people's home. So like it was my birthday. So I had to I had to pretend to people it was a birthday party, but pretend to people that it was a rave as well. So really I couldn't lose, because like to the rave scene I would have said, it's a good birthday party. But like to me people I would have said like, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't lose, so it was either a good birthday party or like a birthday party turned rave, or like you know what I mean?
Aye. For the home though, didn't they?
Aye, so what we've done is there were people who were next door and they had to shut at 12. So we knew like we're probably the one thing for me, right? I didn't want to look stupid. Like I didn't want to put this flyer out there, and then like I didn't want it to shut early because of the police. That was all I was bothered about, like because of the noise and stuff. So I went and knocked on the people's home next door, and I said like, look, I'm going to put a memorial event on for me mate next door. It's a birthday party. It's going to be a bit loud. There's going to be people there, but what we'll do is we'll like put a charity book it on the door, and we'll raise some money for you, like to compensate for the noise. And then we went the next day and like knocked on the door and gave them the money, and they went and like had a deal. I think they were saying they were going to get there was a few hundred quid. They were going to get like fish and chips and that, like for the deal and that. And like I thought like that we're going to make a difference, like you know what I mean. So
just give them something,
give them back.
I like it's mental. It's like the Northern well, that's my new venue now, and like they were struggling before COVID. Like all pubs are and social clubs and like old school pubs are, and it's a big building, and like they used to have boxing shows in there. So like I went and I stood in front of the committee, and I had to like sort of sell rave. And I was thinking, like, yeah, what am I doing here in front of eight old men? Like, I felt like I was in court or something. And I had to stand up, and I'm sure I'd been on a drink or something the night before, something that I really didn't want to go. And to be honest, I had my notepad, and they said, like, I went 5 minutes early. I bought a notepad from around the corner. I had the pen, and I had 2 words on my notepad before the shoot on us. I, like, literally had my notepad with 2 words on, saying door staff. And I went in, I thought I was going to have this big plan. I just completely winged it. And I said, like, look, you have boxing shows here, and you've got to have bother on boxing shows. I says, like, I can promise you now there'll not be that much bother, like, compared to boxing shows I've been in. And touch wood, there's never been any yet.
Never.
And, like, I don't like talking numbers, but, like, the first night we done now, we rented that room for 6 hours. And the money that they pulled in there, like, the next year they were, like, on the phone, like, saying, like, I can't believe it. Like, they never really needed to tell us, but like we saved the pub, like we saved the local pub, local just by like by them taking a risk and letting us have the music on something that was frowned upon so much, you know what I mean? So like that's what our aim's been with it, to try and change the stereotypical look at it. We've tried to change the like
100%. Like everyone gives the rave scene a bad rep, don't they? But if you look how much people look at Right Fighting Sin for Heskey, like how much everyone's pulled together to like raise money from just things, all the charity events.
Even like people that hardly even know him as well. When you look at the donations that was made, like people that like obviously knew by him, but like it's just astonishing like what people can do and pull together for someone that's like loved and liked so much in the scene. Do you know what I mean?
I think his mum was messaging at the time. She was saying like she was blown away. Like I think that perception from the outside looking in is like it's like a negative.
Like soon as you put that post on, it was just like everyone had done their bit. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone.
Even all the charity events we've done in the past to raise money.
But the thing is, the best thing about it, like people didn't need gratitude for it. Like it's like what people have just done for Heskey and that there. Like it's raising money and everything. It's amazing, but at the same time, like it doesn't. Nobody feels like they've really done. Like it's just what we did. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of the normal. It's not really in any other culture, but like
it's a family. That's
and I find real people would date for like in the rave scene we would all date for each other, and like that's
100%.
It's class. So talking about the future of Downforce and that, I want to make it more than just an event. We want to push forward and like make a digital store, start selling merchandise, have our events tickets up there and stuff, get the podcast online, and hopefully start pushing other areas, pushing the Makina and the music in other areas. Right, thanks for watching. That was a wrap for episode 1. Boosh!
Yeah, and finally, I'd just like to say a sincere thank you to County Durham Community Foundation for funding the Downforce Diaries podcast launch. It's been a big learning experience for us here, both in terms of setting up the equipment that needs to be used to do this kind of thing, filming the whole thing, putting it together, organising the days. It's been tricky, but it's got there in the end, and we have the facility to move forward and to make other podcasts for Downforce and for anyone else who would like to come and do them. So yeah, sincere thanks.